Guys, you have to listen to this story because it gets crazy. So here it goes. I think I've destroyed my marriage and my wife refuses to see me or speak to me. I'm not even allowed to know where she is. I made a friend, let's call him David, at the gym. We got on well and the friendship started to translate into us being friends outside of the gym. We regularly hung out after work and after the gym, and it was nice having a friend that I could spend time with. Almost 3 weeks ago, I invited him over to my house to have dinner with me and my wife. So my wife and I were cooking dinner, and at some point her sister called asking if she left her son's toy at our house because he refused to breathe until he got it back. And we ended up finding out that he did leave it at our place, so my wife decided to go by and drop it off. While my wife was away, David arrived. All was going well until my wife got home and saw David. She just suddenly started screaming, and I mean she was letting out some blood-curdling screams. She just kept shouting for David to get out, and she started waving a knife violently around. David left, and I tried to ask her what happened, but she honestly couldn't even talk. It seemed like she was having a stroke or a heart attack. I immediately called for an ambulance, and she was admitted at the hospital for having a severe panic attack. She was hospitalized for 3 days, and she didn't speak to anyone literally the whole time. On her release date, she just left and no one would tell me where she was. Then, finally, her sister texted me a long text that were full of expletives, but it did not explain what I did wrong. David was the man who took her hostage for 9 days when she was 12, and then stalked her for 7 years until he went to jail for an unrelated crime. He was never punished for raping her or holding her hostage. I mean, when I came to this realization, my jaw literally fell to the ground. I knew all about this as she told me about it from the very beginning of our relationship. I just don't know how I didn't recognize him. I don't know how to fix this. She just refuses to see me, speak to me, and I don't even know where she is now. Guys, this story gets really twisted. Here's the extra information that they left. Yes, I called the police, but according to them, he hasn't committed a crime. I invited this guy into our home, but apparently it's not illegal to give someone a fake name or to befriend them. Yes, I've seen pictures of him. I just forgot. I don't know how I forgot what he looked like, but I forgot nonetheless. I saw pictures of him in his late 20s, and I saw 3 prison pictures of him taken between 2017 and 2018. Yes, he does look different now from the pictures that I've seen, but not enough for me not to recognize him. I really don't have a reasonable excuse for not being able to tell that it was him. It is clear that David had planned this. He clearly befriended me to get to my wife. He also gave me a different name than his real name. They won't tell me where my wife is because now I'm not trusted. I'm not allowed to know. Her friends and family have completely cut me off. People have literally changed their numbers and privated their social media. I mean, this isn't their first rodeo with this man. My wife was keeping track of him, but he was released earlier from prison, but the records were not updated. So we both were under the impression that he was still in prison, but he was released early in December last year. And he apparently went straight back to stalking her. And then I let him into our lives, her private space. Of course I regret my actions. I wish I recognized him earlier. At the time of the rape and imprisonment, he was 22 and she was 12. She knew him through her stepbrother and a fellow student. Apparently at the time, David had his own place, so his house was the party house where all the teens and preteens went to. He was the kind of loser that would sell drugs and alcohol to minors. I have no idea how he was never charged with a crime. Once the lawyers found out that she had a crush on him at the time, they twisted it up and used that as an excuse to say that she was just his secret girlfriend. It was a combination of slut-shaming, lack of physical evidence, and her inability to speak on the stand because she was too traumatized. All they did was ordered him to stay away from her, but he repeatedly broke the order and they did nothing about it. Now I think I broke my wife's trust forever.